Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's talk about this one. I told you I was going to make a video after the Nuggets and the Timberwolves played. Congratulations to the Timberwolves. Now, I'm going to eat my words and I'm going to man up. I said that Denver would sweep this series after they had to play the refs, Adam Silver, the flops by the Lakers, the crying by LeBron James and the rest of the Lakers. I thought it would be easy for them to go ahead and sweep this series. What I can say is, I'm not trying to make no excuses, but I think Denver was a little bit tired. That's no excuse, okay? That's really no excuse, but I'm just saying, I thought they were a little bit tired. Let's give credit to Anthony Edwards. He had a phenomenal game and is a great player. But let me say this first. He is nowhere near Michael Jordan. All these dummies keep saying the play-by-play, Reggie Miller. I don't know who this other guy was. I know Kevin Harlan was on the play-by-play too. He's terrific. You guys need to go back and listen to some of his games when he was a little bit younger in the 90s. Oh my God, this guy was electric. He's nowhere near the play-by-play guy he used to be. He was just, oh wow. It was a lot to take in when he was on the call. He was just phenomenal. Probably one of the best with Marv Albert. I think Marv Albert was a little bit better. Kevin Harlan, a little bit more electric. So, look, Denver's going to have to play a little bit more defense. I thought they had this game in control at some points in the first half. But Gordon, he's going to have to step up. And Murray, he's going to have to step up. I think they're going to have to play a different game. I don't think their game was that bad, but they're going to have to play a little bit more defense. I don't think you're going to be able to stop Anthony Edwards. Reggie Miller, oh my God, how much do you got to sell your soul to be on this play-by-play, this announcement crew, whatever you want to call it? How much do you got to sell your soul, bro? Stop it. This guy said that Anthony Edwards was the best two-way player in the league. I don't know if he said the best overall or at his position. I would say at his position, yes, but let's go look at it now. In the regular season, Anthony Edwards was not top 10 in scoring, assists, rebounds, blocks, or steals. Okay, so he wasn't the best in the league in offense and defense. I think he's going to make an All-NBA team. I think it's probably going to be a second team. But let's stop making these excuses for the guy. Definitely in the playoffs is where you make your name. I'll give it to him. He's been making his name in the playoffs. A great player. A great player. But let's stop this comparison to Michael Jordan because it's not fair. It's not fair to Anthony Edwards as a player, period, for you to compare him to Michael Jordan. He hasn't did what LeBron done his first 4 or 5 years. So what are we talking about? We try to say, well, ESPN and Fox try to say this guy, LeBron is the number 1 or number 2 greatest player of all time. So why don't we get to LeBron first? Why don't you just gonna skip over Kobe? Because Kobe was the second best thing we ever seen to Michael Jordan. So you're trying to say this guy is better than Kobe Bryant? Wow, this, and can we stop using 90s guys? Didn't you just say Jordan played against plumbers and he had no left hand? His era was watered down. Why do we always keep trying to bring up these guys in the 90s and stuff like that? You know, Anthony Edwards isn't better than Larry Bird. He's not better than Michael Jordan. He's not better than Kareem. He's not better than Magic. He's not better than Wilt. What are we talking about? What we need to be talking about is this guy is his own great player in his own era of no defense. 4 guys sitting at the three-point line in a wide open lane. Okay, Michael Jordan would have scored 60 a game. Kobe would have scored 60 a game. What are we talking about? The center would have scored 200 a game. Shaq would have scored 50 a game. What are we talking about? Well, this is sad. This is sad. And I don't mean to beat up, take away from what Minnesota did tonight because, if they keep playing like this, Um, Denver, they really have no chance. They really have no chance in this game if their players don't get on their high horse and start playing. And what this game exposes is how bad the Lakers really were. Okay, how bad the Lakers really were. That all it took for them to stay in all these games in the fourth quarter and only come out with one win against Denver. It exposes how bad the Lakers really were. That's what it exposes. So if Denver loses this one, all this hype about Joker and stuff like that, I've heard it from Uncut Hoops. I heard it from Shap Attack. I heard it from these guys like this about Joker being the greatest offensive player since Michael Jordan, this and that and that and this. Great player in his own era. He is a great player in his own. Let's leave this to these guys in their own era. Stop comparing. How is Anthony Edwards ever going to live up to his potential as a player if we keep comparing this guy to Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan is far away from what Anthony Edwards was doing, even in season 4, because we keep making up 22. LeBron was 18 when he came in the league. Okay, and LeBron is spanked what Anthony Edwards did in his first 4 years in a tougher era. And that's not saying much because it was a weak era compared to the 90s when LeBron came in. It was a weaker era. Okay? So we got to stop. That's what I'm so mad about, that we can't even, we always just see this stupid stuff in these Facebook basketball groups. Oh, stop comparing and just appreciate greatness. Well, that's what we did in the 80s and 90s. Michael Jordan wasn't compared to nobody. Larry Bird wasn't compared to nobody. Magic Johnson wasn't compared to nobody. Kareem wasn't compared to nobody. Patrick Ewing wasn't compared to nobody. Everybody was their own great player. So you actually, you actually got to achieve something for you to be this great player. When we look at Anthony Edwards, he has nothing on his resume. I think he has like second All-NBA team. He has 0 statistical categories. He has nothing. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad player and he's a great player. It's a different era. These guys, Reggie Miller, he's a cornball. He's weak. He sucks. If he really told the truth about what he's looking at, he couldn't be on the play-by-play. He couldn't be. Because he would be saying this era is weak. This defense is weak. These guys will get rolled over by 90s players. That's what he would be saying. He would be saying that he would go out there and he would be a superstar in this era, scoring 35 a game. Just Reggie Miller, him shooting those type of threes and being left open, just sitting at the three-point line, and you really can't play the style of defense that was in the 90s. So you guys don't get mad at me. I'm just telling the truth. I've said this in my past videos. Let's appreciate this era for what it is. It's not even what they was doing in the 2010s. It's not what they was doing in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s. It's a whole different game. They play a whole different game. It's a new game to everybody, okay? Dudes just didn't sit out there and could launch 10 threes and hit 3 of them and be a great player. You couldn't do that, right? This era, all you got to do is hit 35% from the 3, 36, and you're a good shooter. Okay, if you get up in the 40s, you're a great 3-point shooter. So, but you're shooting so many of them per player. You shoot like 10 of them a game most of the times. And like I said, we can't take away from what Minnesota did tonight. They just kept fighting and coming and coming and coming. I didn't see no real great defensive error. No great defensive effort by Anthony Edwards tonight. Was he a slouch? No. I would have to go look back. I didn't see him making 2-3 steals or nothing like that. Let's see what happens. I think Denver rebounds from this game, and they're going to have to play really good defense. If Anthony Edwards is hitting that mid-range and hitting that 3, they're in big trouble. I don't think nobody can. I would put Gordon on Edwards. I don't know if Aaron Gordon is a little bit too slow, though. He might be slow for Anthony Edwards. And I don't care who you put on him. If he's hit that mid-range like that, forget about it. It looks like his shoes are too big for his body. It looks weird. But this guy is playing phenomenal. Let's give him credit. What we're gonna hear tomorrow in the coming days, Michael, don't you actually have to have a quarter of the resume that Michael Jordan had at that age? Well, not at that age, but what Michael Jordan has done. You can't compare. You can't compare. This guy came in, to me, like I keep saying, if you want to compare him to Michael Jordan, go ahead. But you can't say because now he's just 22. It's a weaker era. He should have been dominating by now. Okay, I think Luka came in at 19, right? 19 or 20, and he's been dominating ever since, statistically. So I don't really know what the excuse is. SGA's been dominating statistically. Not that Anthony Edwards has been doing bad, but give me a break. I don't. He just ain't been doing what Luka has been doing since Luka came in at an early age too. They got two different games. Um, just a whole bunch of nonsense, man. Just a whole bunch of nonsense, like always. Um, I don't even want to watch some of these channels now because it's going to be ridiculous. You have, it's going to be these Michael Jordan comparisons with no proof, with no proof, no proof. Go see what Kobe was doing at 22. Kobe was winning championships at 22. Yes, he had Shaq, but the man was balling out of control. Balling out of control at 22 years old. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he win his third championship at 22 or something like that? I'm not sure. But he was the second or third. So, you got to stop, man. If we're saying Jordan is the best of all time, he can't just this is what we did with LeBron. We just put LeBron over Larry Bird. We put him over Magic Johnson, Kareem, Wilt, all these other guys, and just start over Kobe Bryant and everything, just to start making the comparisons. It's ridiculous. Let the man be his own man, and we can appreciate this because when he starts to fail, what are we going to say then? When LeBron started to fail, then we start beating him up because it was a Jordan versus LeBron debate. We just can't do that, man. Um, Joker, I don't know. I look for him to come back with another strong game, but he looked kind of. I don't really know what to say. He looked rattled at times. I've been saying this. He can't play in the 90s. They would be blocking his shot all down the court. They take a guy like David Robinson. David Robinson would have a field day with this guy. Tim Duncan would have a field day with this guy. Even Akeem, Ewing, Alonzo Mourning. He's a great one-way player. He's not a good defensive player. In the 90s, those great centers were two-way players. The Robinsons, the Hakeems, the Ewings, Alonzo Mourning. Even though Alonzo Mourning wasn't scoring all those points, it was a tougher era. Nobody was gonna, if Mourning and Joker went against each other, Mourning would be blocking his shot down the damn street. You guys don't understand this. It's all talk and hearsay. There's no space on the court for you to, wheel and deal like that. Not that, you can't wheel and deal, but it's gonna be tighter. Everything has to be tighter. The passes. Nobody's sitting at the 3-point line. Four guys, maybe two, your guards and stuff like that. But it was a tougher era, different era, and I don't even know what to say, man. All I know is I can't watch this when Reggie Miller is calling this game, and I like Kevin Harlan. And whoever that guy was with Reggie Miller, Reggie Miller was like pretty much forcing this guy to say that Anthony Edwards is like Michael Jordan. So you're gonna skip past Kobe. This is ridiculous. I heard this from Uncut Hoops. I heard this from Shap Attack. And I was like, man, this is crazy because I like these guys, but they lose so much credibility with me when they say these things. They lose so much credibility when they say these things. I don't care about 22 years old. It's a weaker era. He should have been dominating this era by the time he was 19, 20 years old. It's a different era. It's wide open. The lane is wide open. Okay? I respect the man for working on his game, getting better, and I want him to dominate this era. But it's a different era. You can't compare what Jordan did in his era. Jordan was a menace amongst great power forwards, small forwards, great centers, great defensive guards and stuff like that. There's no comparison. Just let this guy play his game. It's just I'm almost just gonna stop watching. I'm almost gonna stop watching because not just because they're comparing this guy to Michael Jordan, which is ludicrous, is because they're just like skipping all over the other guys. Tracy McGrady. Think Tracy McGrady would have a field day with this kind of defense? If you just touch somebody, a Grant Hill, a Penny Hardaway. You guys are going crazy because you haven't seen this type of play that Anthony Edwards is putting on, but we've seen it. We've seen it in the 90s. We've seen it in the early 2000s. This guy, I don't even think he's better than Allen Iverson yet. And you're going, oh no, he shoots a better percentage. But look what Allen Iverson had to go through. It was a tougher NBA. Allen Iverson would be scoring 40 a game on 50% shooting in this era of no defense. And you really can't blame these guys about the defense. This is the defensive rules that is given to them. So yeah, congratulations to the Timberwolves. Hell, they might be able to sweep this series. I doubt it. But, all these people who making these comparisons or saying Joker was this and that and that, if they get beat this series, you're going to have to eat all this. Because I never said Joker was, a top 5 center or nothing like that. I said he's a great center in this era. I'm the one that, been on this channel talking about he should win the MVP when they had SGA. They had, trying to get the MVP. No, what Joker did in regular season, he should get the MVP. So I'm the first one to defend him on that. But no, he's not a top 5 center in my opinion. You can't put him at top 5 center of all time when he doesn't play the defense that the Wilt played. That what's the name? I can't even think of it. Even Alonzo Mourning, Ewing, Hakeem, these type of guys. David Robinson. You guys need to go back and watch video, man. I don't know. This is why these NBA fans today, they don't know nothing about the NBA. All they know is about how to ridicule past players and compare past players to this era. There's no comparison. We never heard, like I said, we never heard no comparison from 90s players to 80s players to 80s players to 70 players to 70 players. We didn't. We just appreciated greatness. We was happy that the game kept evolving. Evolving doesn't mean you was better than somebody else in a past era because they played under a different set of rules in different competition and stuff like that. The era is so weak, in my opinion, they got to stand on another era to start comparing. Instead of just saying this era is great, we're going to continue to evolve the greatness. Okay, that's what they need to start doing because they're really ruining the game. And they're making Anthony Edwards live up to these expectations that he's not ready for. I don't think so. He's got to actually prove, not only in the playoffs, the regular season too. And Joker does too. He won 1 championship, okay? All these channels making all these assumptions and saying he's a top 5 player of all time, top 10 player of all time. It's all nonsense. You don't have to prove nothing in this era anymore. You're exposing how weak it is. Jordan, you could have said by 88, Jordan was the greatest player of all time, just based on his skill level, based on his play, and all this stuff. But we never said that. They always said Magic Johnson was better, Larry Bird was better, Kareem was better, because not only do you have to prove on the court your level of skills and your play, but championships too. And it kind of changed when LeBron kept failing and building super teams and failing. It no longer became about your level of play on the court and winning. Okay, so you can chalk this up to LeBron, what they're doing now. Okay, so appreciate this guy for what he's doing. Joker, Anthony Edwards, SGA, Halliburton, Tatum, all these guys. Let these guys play in their era and prove their greatness against each other. They didn't play nobody. They didn't play against the same level of competition that these guys played in the 90s, the 80s, whatever like that. If you guys say this era is better shooters, then why compare these guys to 90s and 80s players? Okay? To me, like I said, the 80s was a better skilled and fundamental league than the 90s, but the 90s was fundamentally skilled and they were more athletic. Okay? The less athleticism you have, the more you're gonna have to be more fundamental. Okay, so look, I mean, Joker proved that last season. So you guys tell me what you think, man. I mean, tell me if you feel me. It's just hard for me to, as a basketball, a lot of these young people don't understand this. We're trying to make them understand this. Let's appreciate these guys for what they're doing in their era. You know what I'm saying? We can't, we get just can't jump these guys past LeBron, past Tracy McGrady, past Kobe, past David Robinson, past Duncan, past Michael Jordan, past Pippen, past Ewing, past Hakeem, past Will. It's insane. It's insane. And there shouldn't be no top, the greatest player of all time. It should be what you